What is up, guys? It's James here, and today I've got something new on the line. I've been thinking for a while now how to do it, but I was just like, nope, fuck it, whatever. We're just going with this because wasting too much time thinking about it. But anyways, so today I thought I might bring up the topic of compositions, so team compositions for Fate Grand Order, as you can see by the title down there. But yes, on the topic of compositions, because I personally feel that like in Fate Grand Order, half the fun comes from looking at the different types of teams you can make with your servants, because you're going to end up with a lot of servants that you're not going to be able to use, or a lot more than the general 6, of course, which is the only amount you can have in a party. And it's not required to go into strategy, because the basic strategy for Fate Go is pretty simple. But when you're at the higher difficulty maps, you may require some, let's say, help or synergy in your team to beat the higher level maps, per se, just because they're really hard. I always promote the option of implementing strategies into your gameplay just to spice things up a little. Just to make it a little bit mentally challenging and fun, I suppose. But in the times where you actually do need it, I thought this might be handy for people who might not look at strategy very often or whatnot. Well, anyways, enough of me blubbering, let's get to it. So the first party I've got with me today is what I call the Arts Crit party, I guess. It's my main party and the party that I come with, or the composition that I come with most of the time against relatively challenging maps. So I'm doing this during the Ilya event, so while I am filming this, I am also farming because I need to farm for a shop match. But besides the point. Anyway, so normally I bring this kind of team for a relatively challenging map. I brought almost this exact team to fight the final Emiya battle in the Ilya event, which I have made a recording of. I'm not sure if I'm going to post it up because it was for... I didn't think about it when I recorded it, so I basically recorded it on my mobile phone using a shitty recorder. So it's not very high quality, but if you guys do want to see it, I can link it or post it up later. But yeah, I basically brought this exact team and walked through it, no sweat, no command seals used, no one died. No. Maybe I took 17 minutes to do it, but actually, it was more like 22 minutes, but I digress. Most of the people that I had seen doing it had done it at about averagely about the same amount of time I did. So maybe 20, 25, 30 even. That's only the ones I've seen. So yeah, by the time this comes up, you guys might have the event might have passed already, so I'm sorry about that, because I'm working on this kind of last minute, but also I'll be editing it. I'll see if I can get it up before then, but whatever. If this can be of any help to you guys, that'd be great. Anyway, so let's explain the composition first of all. So in general, for a composition, I feel a team composition needs at least 7 cards of the type that we are looking for to make it more consistent. So in this team that I have here, the weight, I guess, or the bias, I don't know, it is on the arts side, as you can see here. Okay, Hans has 3 art cards, so he's a caster, and I don't think we have a caster that doesn't have a triple art stack. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. And everyone else on this list has double arts and double buster. Obviously, you guys should know Mashu if you're playing this game, because she's the freaking first servant you start with. Yep, just double arts, double buster with an arts NP. And John Altar infamous Jun Alter, has a Double Arts Double Buster card set with a Buster NP. Now generally people talk about compositions, they only talk about the cards in the deck themselves, but I like to take into account the NPs as well, as you will see later on when I go into the battle. I will be using those NPs to chain. I will explain in a later video the value of chaining with NPs and so on, and the tricks that you can do with that. Yes, there are actually tricks that you can do with this, but regardless. So the basis of this team is to have a balance. So you have Mashu, she's the tank. You have Hans, he is the support. Healer, buffs, he doesn't have any debuffs except on himself. And Jun Alter, who is the damager or DPS for MMO terms of the team. So overall you will have a decent balance. So the Cs on the team are, well, supporting the function. I think I may explain it in a later video because it might take a bit to explain the crit system, but basically it's 2 20-30 CEs which generate 8 stars per turn each, and Jun Alter, I don't care what CE she has, to be honest. If she had a event CE boosting my drop rate, I would be very happy because I am farming right now, but besides that, yeah. Anyway, let's get on to it. Now with arts type compositions, most of them try to do the same thing, which is spam your NPs. Gain a lot of NPs through chaining arts cards and spamming them. Well, normally there are 2 different types. There is your Staller type, and then there is your crit type. The one I'm using here is crit oriented, using 20-30 Cs on Mashu and Hans to supply stars for Jun Alter to absorb and dish out, because Jun Alter has a crit skill. Now this team works with anyone who does well in the crit area, so any riders, archers, and most archers. Anyone that has a skill that absorbs crit stars and increases their crit damage. Now the whole crit damage system is a bit complicated, so I might explain that in a later video. But basically the idea here is to absorb crit stars and do critical strikes using your DPS when the cards are there, and when they're not there, using your basically the rest of your team's cards to supply NP, to chain NP, and to use their NPs. That sounds a bit repetitive, but I digress. Basically it's all about NPs here, NPs there, NPs everywhere. Throw NPs all day every day, just shoot them down like no tomorrow, as you will see in the battle, or you might be seeing. Now the map I'm up against here is the EX map and the Glacier, or the top part of the Prisma Ilia event I'm farming, so it has multiple classes in it. The problem with multiple classes is that it's often hard to make a composition that can effectively fight against all of those classes. The good thing I find about this composition is that I don't have to worry about weaknesses and resistances to any of my summons, so they won't randomly get killed as easily. You know, given that Mashu and Jun Alter have no weaknesses, and Hans only has the Rider weakness. Besides all of them having the Berserker weakness, but that's obvious. Oh, except Mashu, she doesn't have a Berserker weakness. There you go, there's one bonus there. Also, another downside here is Jun Alter also has low HP, but that's not too much of a problem, considering that with this team, Mashu supplies really good defense. Of course, my Mashu and my Hans are both at max level, but you can do this not as optimally as I am doing it if you are not maxed, but it is possible. One thing a lot of people don't notice about Mashu's taunt skill is that the NP gain from that skill is ridiculous. As you can see from one hit, it almost went up to 100%, and I taunted, so that basically did the rest. But yes, basically this team does not face any weaknesses in the normal battle. and often it is way too easy. So I might not even be able to show you the spammability of the NPs. Actually, I might be able to. See, also the good thing here is with John Alter having a Buster NP, so I can choose whenever to quote unquote let the cannon loose and shoot things down, like real hard. But basically that's the gist of it. You want to chain, gain NP, gain mana, get your NP up, use your NP, spam that NP, and throw it in people's faces like no tomorrow. It's not a big deal to throw your NP when you're gaining it back like almost right away. Okay, now that's just a basic example of the kind of setup. Well, I guess basic, not really basic, but I'm just gonna flash a couple of examples from my own servant list real quick on the screen now, and these are some compositions that I use from time to time, and there are plenty more. Considering how many servants there are, there's like a shit ton of ways to mix and match them, so for the most part you'll have to figure it out yourself. You know, look up servant reviews and stuff, like look like at which servant matches with which, like, and just like use a bit of your own intuition to think of what pairs well with what, like, you know, how Kiritsugu has a target taunt with someone who has dodge maybe, or something like that. Also, I kind of neglected to mention the sub party. Most of the time I use the sub party as filler slots, so basically I'll stick servants who can fulfill a similar role or the same role, or maybe in a map with multiple types of enemies I would have a different class sitting in the sub. But yeah, basically just backups. So maybe you'd stick a backup tanker, a backup DPS, and really filter about how you want to do it. In general, I like to put servants that can gain NP really fast there, because if you're losing servants, that means you're kind of in a tight situation, so you're gonna need that NP fast. Alright guys, so that's about it for today for basic art compositions. If you guys have any questions or anything you would like to say, just please pop them down in the comments below. We do read your comments. And if you liked the video, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We very much appreciate your audience, and look forward to our next episode.